Good morning. Yep, it's that time of the week again. It's our Saturday morning weekender. This one is going to be like a Saturday morning quickie.
Warren. Okay, at least you're not cursing. I'll let you away with it, you're not cursing.
A Saturday morning quickie. The reason for that is over the last day or so, the first of our new equipment has started to arrive. So we are up to our
Thank you.
up to our tentacles in trying to get to grips with this new equipment. So this is actually being recorded on the new stuff.
Have we been telling people there's new stuff on the way?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, because people have been complaining, you know, that some of the stuff was starting to look a bit out of focus and things like that. There was reasons for that. We've been coming to the new studio. We had some equipment malfunctions and things like that. We were holding off until we got here before doing anything new equipment-wise.
Yeah, getting all our upgrades in.
Yeah, because we wanted to see what this place was like and what we could do with it.
Yeah. In short, everyone with blurry eyes going, I can't see that, should be quite happy now.
Yes, we don't need to go to Specsavers.
We've only had these cameras a couple of hours, and then the
footage looks better.
The tests and things we've been doing.
Yeah, it all looks a lot better.
Very promising.
Yes, however, everything is still running on full auto mode, okay?
Yeah.
So if we all suddenly just go completely out of focus or the lights dip and come back up again, it's because we're still running in full auto.
Yes, we still have to learn how to turn everything to manual.
Well, we don't normally do anything in full auto. Everything's normally manually done. So this is a bit of an experiment of what's the worst it's ever going to be.
I don't know about that. Justin does a lot of things in full auto.
Yeah, autopilot.
So that's the first of the equipment coming. Please bear with us while because there is more on the way. This does bode well for the return of our live shows. We've been waiting for equipment to be able to do that. We also have some other bits and pieces we need to sort out, but we're well on our way now to the return of the live shows. But we're not there just yet, so bear with us.
One quick question. With the new changes to 40k, will it be changed from turn 8, or will we still be keeping the old name?
No, we'll still keep turn 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the return of turn 8.
But like 2000 AD never changed its name.
Yeah.
I suppose.
21st century
Fox.
Yeah, 20th Century Fox. 21st Century Fox, yeah. No, I don't think we'll change the name. I think turn 8 is still a good name for what we do. I am looking forward to, particularly to the return of live rounds, though. We only got the one out. It hasn't made an appearance since. It is a big, big part of what I want to do. So I'm looking forward to the return of live rounds as much, maybe even a little bit more than the return of turn 8, for that matter. Because we've had the weekender, so I've never, this last while, I haven't been missing turn 8 as much as because we've been able to sit and talk
I hate you. Oh, fine. I'll just beat that one.
Anyway, this week in gaming, we're going to keep it very short. Darrell and Andy have tried to set the internet on fire again.
Yes, but they forgot one thing. If they're right, if you have a character in one unit who has to issue and accept challenges, and if you have a fearless character in the other unit, they have to fight.
Yes.
So long as there's no character in your opponent's unit.
What we're talking about here is Darrell and Andy, in their infinite wisdom, discovered something in the 40k rulebook to do with allies of convenience. And desperate allies. So basically, if he had allies of convenience and I had NIDs, and I sent my NIDs into multiple assault.
Yeah, if you sent in a Ripper Swarm.
Yeah, during that combat, the way units have to pile into each other, the way it's actually worded in the book, his allies would have to pile into each other and effectively fight.
Each other's head in.
And they wouldn't be able to stop until one side was dead. Or tried to run away and then would get killed. It's horrendous.
So what you end
it's
up
basically those two guys just trying to break the book.
Yeah.
However, that's why the show is called Cheese Hunters. Cheese Hunters as a show is a cage. Think of it like that. We deliberately created a show where we could stick that and not have it leak out into all the other lovely stuff we do. So if you don't like cheese, my suggestion is don't watch Cheese Hunters because it's only going to annoy you.
Quite right.
It's there. It's in the title. If you don't like it, don't watch it. There's plenty of other stuff on.
I haven't seen that particular show, but I've watched some of the other ones. They're good. The guys there, but even just you trying to start to explain that to me, I'm really thinking, but that's just no. It just wouldn't be that. It just wouldn't happen.
The crowning moment in the whole video was before they even got this. It was a double bill this video. Okay, the first one was whenever they had discovered. They were talking about allies of convenience not being able to secure objectives because the way it's worded is it's worded in this convoluted manner that actually, whenever it's laid out logically, it means that your allies can't claim objectives for you.
Yes,
okay,
and also might count as a kill point for you and your opponent in a kill points game.
Yes, I know.
Okay, yeah,
I know. Right? Do you want to know? Do you want to know?
I'm kind of with you so far.
Do you want to know the crowning moment of the whole video? The crowning moment of the whole video was when Darrell turned around and said, and the beauty of this is, I won't tell you until the game is over.
Yes, so whereas you've been getting, oh, I've got a kill point, oh, I've got a kill point, oh, I've got a kill point. He's going, yeah, but I've got one too.
And he ain't going to tell you that you haven't got those objectives until the game is over. And that just sums it right up. That's why it's called Cheese Hunters, folks.
Yep.
See, when the guys were over, Andy and both Andy and Darrell, they said, "Oh, Stu, you got your stuff. Do you fancy a game?" And I was gutted because I wasn't able to have a game with them.
Yeah.
Now, not feeling like I've missed out quite so much. Yeah.
No, you're okay. It's a classic example of we say to Darrell sometimes for a battlefield autopsy, right? Darrell, we need a battlefield autopsy on such and such. We want people to learn stuff. Darrell just completely shuts off. Learn? What's that? How do I defeat him in 2 turns?
Yeah, so in other words, break out the Alpha Strike list.
An Alpha Strike list. I'm going to defeat it. No. Darrell, in this instance, it's not about the winning. This is about people learning something new or something interesting. It is Cheese Hunters. What can I say? Anyway, so we had Cheese Hunters out that set the internet on fire. We had
Well, the funny thing is, so far, mostly the people I've seen commenting have been agreeing with him.
Yes, our friends
that's what scares me. I think we may have created a monster here.
We've had a couple of priceless comments on YouTube, though, that even I won't repeat on this show because there'd be a lot of beeping going on. Fair enough. Anyway, the other thing that happened this week was I actually got a night's gaming with my other half, Andrea. I chucked up an article about that called getting back into the hobby. It's something that everybody's life gets hectic once in a while. Things can happen, especially when you start to reach your 30s and stuff like that, because love, babies, mortgages, jobs, it can all get in the way at times. And this is just, we went through a period of some months gearing up to all of this. It's been just incredibly hectic and high pressured in what we've been trying to do. But now that the move is over, it's not that I've found more time, but I started to find a little bit more space in my head and heart to be able to get into gaming. So it's this is my journey back into, not the hobby, because I'm very much in the hobby, but it's a journey back to my hobby and rediscovering what that is, because I approached it from the point of view that I'm quite prepared to never revisit the things I have. I didn't want to come at it from a things point of view. I wanted to come at it from a people point of view. So I had the best night's gaming. I was going to say one of the best, but it probably is without doubt the best night gaming I've ever had here down in the gaming centre in Tabletop
Nation. Through what, 3 systems?
Yep. I came in, we had one game kind of pre-arranged with Stu and the team, and they'll do that for you, demo games and things like that. So myself and Andrew got a game of Dystopian Wars in. It had been a while since I played Dystopian Wars, so it was great to have a refresher. It was a lot of fun. Before that, I chucked a post up on the forums here saying I'm going into TTN tonight. I'm just hoping for a game. It would be nice to play this, or this. Within 5 minutes, one of the people that actually frequents the gaming centre had responded on the forum and said, I'll give you a game of X-Wing. And absolutely fantastic.
Did you play it on the
Yep.
board?
I played it on the Death Star trench board.
There's a name for that, the Kessel Run? Or
No.
The Trench Run.
It's the Trench Run.
It's called the Trench Run.
There was
called
an
the
event.
Trench Run.
We had an event called the Kessel Run, which was a few weeks ago, which we did use that board as a kind of a separate the men from the boys, because it's X-Wing's a great game, as you
Yeah,
discovered.
loved it.
But what is a little bit fiddly is it's best played if the table is absolutely flat, and then you've got the terrain is things that are around it.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously for any other kind of wargaming, the more interesting the board is. Like you guys have got a really nice World War One themed
it's like
style
a sci-fi trench
board.
board, yeah.
So which is really cool. But if you're trying to play that with a game that requires lots of little counters and things like that, if your models are all at funny angles, it's a bit of a swine to play on.
Yeah, we played on it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I could see what people mean about it being difficult. So, already I was starting to think about a way of building a three-dimensional X-wing board that's maybe a little bit flatter. So me and you have to talk.
Star Destroyer.
about this.
Star Destroyer.
Yeah, we have some ideas for that, and we have a Star Destroyer down the stairs that I have some ideas on how we can go about
Excellent. Look
making
forward to
that something awesome for the gaming venue here. So I got that X-Wing in. Guys, I cannot recommend it enough. If you're new to gaming, and we've got a lot of people here on Beasts of War now that are coming in, they're new to gaming or just getting back into gaming, have a look at X-Wing. You'll find it in Waterstones and stuff like that over here in the UK.
About it, is you find it everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, that's when you know a game is really good. Whenever you can actually just find it in a bookstore.
If there's one thing, that is it, because you literally just walking off the street and get it.
Yeah, it's good.
And
it's a little bit light in the ground because it's selling out in a lot of places, So, but do find it. It comes pre-painted. Can't recommend it enough. Got Dystopian Wars in. Dystopian Wars was fantastic.
Yeah, well, luckily you picked a really easy opponent to go against. It was going to give you a nice soft game and was in no danger of beating you. So that was
Well,
fine.
to be fair, Stu, it was myself and Andrea. Andrea had really shown an interest in Dystopian Wars. I think she's fell in love with the French. It must be them big heat guns, It's
yeah. The only thing I don't get is why did you both play the French?
because Stu supplied the armies. Myself and Andrea went into a gaming centre with our arms the one length. We didn't bring anything with us, and this is something I wanted to get across in the article. Don't be afraid to ring ahead to your local venue, or come down here to us. And if you are coming down, register on the website and PM me and let me know. And if you are trying to get back into gaming, or you've went through a period where you're now looking at ease in, I don't see why we couldn't come up with a kind of a hobby reconciliation program.
Yeah, we could call it Easy Night.
So for people to start getting back into it. But it was down to the kindness of Nick, who just said, I'll play you a game. That meant the world to me. That somebody who I hadn't ever met before, really, other than I'd seen him in passing, said, yeah, I'll play you a game. And I think, if anybody takes anything away, if you're a regular player, if you see somebody wander in, say, yeah, would you like to try this? Yeah, I might have to split my army in half, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We're just going through the motions of how the game is played.
That's right.
Well, I've had that happen to me a couple of times with board gamers down here. So I got a chance to play Privateers board game.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it
Level
now.
7.
Level 7. I got to play that. Brilliant little game. Got to play Super Dungeon Explorer. Brilliant little game. And again, it was just randomly I looked past it and just went, oh, that looks rather cool. Yeah. Would you like to sit down and play? Okay. Off you go.
Yeah, it's a nice crowd downstairs, actually.
Yeah,
We've got a good
everyone's
bunch
been
of
really
people.
friendly
Yeah.
since I came across.
I rounded the night out playing Katrina, who's an awesome girl, in a game of Magic the Gathering where she completely annihilated me. And she lent me a green deck. Now, I like the green deck in Magic the Gathering, but I'm used to big monsters coming quite quickly for me in the green deck. This one.
See, this is innuendo. I don't have
hands.
to beat that one.
Use both
I
hands.
used both hands.
Big monsters.
And those monsters just wouldn't come. And it was...
You see, because this isn't actually dirty, there's no beeping here.
And I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going. And I was thinking, when are new monsters going to come? And they didn't.
Yeah, no,
So-
see, this is why I play the red-green deck. Because fire comes quick.
Oh, it comes quick.
Yeah, it does.
Well, she played a black-white deck, I think, that was vampire-themed. And it just sucked the soul out of me. It was I was on the back foot from turn 2. And it's getting bad whenever your opponent is actually keeping you in the game and prolonging your agony a little bit. And she did do that. But it was good fun. I enjoyed it. And it coincided with Gatecrash being out.
Absolutely.
The big release from this week.
Yeah.
Gatecrash is now officially on sale as of yesterday, Friday. So it's officially on sale. So I'm looking forward to see what people like on that.
Yep.
And, well, I think that's about that. We'll move on. The other interesting thing is we have a couple of new shows that are being pitched at the moment. We are now starting to tentatively accept pitches from people for new shows and things like that. But more on that to follow once we've went through the process a couple of times and started to nail that ourselves. But I am looking forward to some pretty awesome Flames of War stuff we've got coming up, and some Magic the Gathering.
It's one of the best fantasy games that we do, I think.
Flames of War?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. More on that. More on that to follow. I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. That's horrible.
No, Flames of War is fantasy, as you will,
Not a historical game.
No, it's not a historical game at all, as you are about to find out. So, what else has been happening? On the subject of friendly gaming stores, okay, and getting back into the hobby, we did, I don't know if it was a result of the article or whatever, we did receive a letter. It didn't come to us as a letter, but we did receive a letter from Callum. And Callum was saying, today when visiting GW Cambridge, we found that all the gaming tables and paint stations are not for customer use. They have stopped their veteran night and only have 2 4x4 tables.
What are they for?
He thinks this is going through all stores and it could end up destroying the gaming community. Beasts of War, please can you help, or open a shop in Cambridge. Cambridge is not that far from where we're at here in Essex, is it?
Not a million miles.
Yeah, so you just come down here. But it is an interesting point, because I know that Games Workshop have been going on the one-man store basis.
Yeah.
I think the point you have to remember is, I don't think you've got to understand the difference between customer use and veteran use. I think it's the difference here, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think fundamentally, if you go into your Games Workshop store and you're struggling with painting or anything like that, Games Workshop staff are some of the friendliest, most helpful people you're ever likely to meet in the Games Workshop hobby. They're going to help you. They're not going to turn people away. What they are going to have to do, though, is if these stores are going down to one man, and I think a lot of them are.
I think that's probably what's happening here, is you're seeing it going down to a one-man store.
So that's, if you look at that person, that staff member's time as a resource, they've got to prioritise. And obviously, Games Workshop being a company that values making sure that new people can get in there in the best possible way, those people are going to have the lion's share of the staff's time. Probably about 75% of their time is going to be on brand new people coming into the hobby. Mm-hmm. So that being the case, and obviously a person, doesn't matter how much love you have for the hobby, that staff member isn't going to be able to do more than about 40, 50 hours a week in terms of your working week. So that's going to change the opening hours and the dynamic of the store a little bit. So you're going to see even more emphasis on new people coming in, and even more emphasis on those core shopping and support hours. So really, if you look at it from the other side of it though, and this is probably where this slightly negative aspect is coming from, you coming in and going as a regular, or a veteran, whatever you want to call yourself, so you're coming in, you already know how to paint, you already know how to play, so there isn't any of that initial teaching that can be done for you. Actually then what you're wanting to do is to come in and, I say take over, I'm not being nasty about it, and I'm sure he would have been very decent in the store, but you're looking to basically camp out on a painting table for a few hours. The store probably can't afford for you to do that, because they're going to want to be running teaching and painting and things like that.
Yeah, that seems a little unfair to ignore the people that have already done the work, bought into it, learned it all, and then just to go, no, you're not welcome here.
Yeah, but wait.
Well,
wait.
Not welcome, but
yeah, because that's to be fair to Games Workshop, I don't think that they're saying you're not welcome here. No, but remember that these stores, as one-man stores, they should probably be better referred to as recruitment centres.
Yeah.
Okay, and that suits every one of us, and it should suit you as well if you think about it. We want Workshop to continue their recruitment, to continue their drive, and finding those people with the hobby gene. In many respects, what it means is that if it goes like that, there's more space for independent stores to start to help and fill that void for the veteran players. And to be fair, veteran players would probably find a lot more to suit them in an independent store than they would ever find in one of the Games Workshop stores, because there'll be other veteran players there that they'll be looking at the likes of Forge World and other games and things like that.
It's a little bit like a graduation kind of thing. I mean, unless you're part of the cast of Glee, once you've graduated from high school or whatever, you're not going to then be coming back in the following year.
Yeah.
And so with Games Workshop, once you've learnt the game, really, other than if you desperately have to get something on the day of release or something like that, there's no earthly reason why you need to come back into the Games Workshop store on a daily or even a weekly basis, because hopefully you've been empowered, and the staff in the GW store are really good at this. They've empowered you, they've given you the tools or the confidence, you've met other people when you were learning, hopefully. You can then go, and if there isn't a local club, start one up. If there is a local club, get yourself down there, get your games in there. That's your next step on the journey. You don't want to be the 27-year-old still going back to his high school or whatever, going, oh, hi guys, I remember how cool this used to be, because it's not the place for you. There's a whole big wide world out there.
I'm saying that workshop could change direction at any time, as they often do. But
they'd only announce it 2 weeks before they actually did it.
Yes,
so.
But it's. I think it's a case of us having to understand where they're coming from at the moment, and I would, so much as I can understand from a veteran player's point of view, you might be feeling a bit left out. It is massively important, the recruitment of new players. Workshop do it very, very well.
Yep.
They have a network of stores set up specifically for that. So, to be fair to them, I can see why that would have to take priority.
But that's why the independent stores, clubs, library clubs, school clubs, whatever else there is out there, that's why they are so important. And actually, for them to function and survive, you don't owe it. It's your hobby. You don't owe it anything to anyone. But I would feel that if you've enjoyed yourself and you like the idea of having a place to go, then really you should do what you can, vote with your feet kind of thing, and actually support those local clubs, those local stores and things like that, and get yourself into that community. Tabletop Nation, we've got the forum that you can arrange for games and things like that. We've got a little chat feature, which you can actually in live, real time, you can chat to people. Not every game in place is going to have anything quite that high tech, but there is going to be a way for you to get to know people. It could be like a bulletin board in your local village hall or whatever. Whatever that way is of communicating and getting in touch with people and arranging games, really, that's where you need to go to. And I'm sure, and I'm not going to speak for Games Workshop on this one, but I'm sure that if you talk to your local store manager in your GW store and say, look, I'm just looking for games beyond the store, is there anyone else out there? Have you had anybody else coming in looking for a game? Those managers are pretty clued up. They will know of a gaming club in your area or something like that. They will know somewhere else for you to go. They're not just going to say to you, no, you're not welcome in the store and there's nowhere else for you to go. There's no way on earth they're going to say that.
Not
they
at
will
all.
They will be able to shine you the light. It might be, it's not in this store though. That's fine. At least they'll show you which way to go.
Yeah, but would it not be worthwhile having the veterans there to actually do the teaching? To actually help those new players.
Okay,
Darrell's a veteran.
Visualise what most veterans.
No, Darrell's
are like.
not a veteran. Darrell is a cheat hunter.
Well, yeah.
Very, very different.
But there is okay. If see, the thing is, at the end of the day, Games Workshop's a business.
Yeah,
and
they train their managers very, very well from the point of view of introducing people to the game. And it's after investing in all that training and all that time, are you going to leave it in the hands of somebody who's great at the game, but an amateur at introducing people to the game?
And
maybe
I wouldn't take the risk.
And as gamers, we've all got our own preconceived notions of what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
If I'm new into the hobby and I come in and I go, actually, the first thing I want to buy is a Baneblade. Everybody's going to have a notion of, well, you don't want to get a Baneblade because you want to start off small or you want to do this, that, and the other. But actually, it's my hobby. If I want to buy a Baneblade as my first model, why can't I buy a Baneblade? And the Games Workshop staff, and actually most good hobby centre staff, are going to be trained and are going to be clued in enough that they're going to help you make your own decisions. They give you some guidance, but I don't know if you're necessarily from a veteran or whatever you want to call them, a regular. I think they might put things in slightly stronger terms. And for very dominant, and we know that most stores have quite dominant characters in their veteran pool. Some of them may even, or it's not bullying because it's usually coming from a point of support, but they will probably batter you into getting the tactical squad or the Warmachine force or whatever else it would be.
If you come in and you're looking for a tank, and you're told, no, that tank's that's not the introduction to the hobby you're after. But anyway,
I don't know.
Right. On the subject of events and getting into the hobby, Stu, we have some events. Can we try and entice some people towards some of these? There's one in particular that I'm looking forward to.
There's one for myself as well.
what can I say? There's a few cracking events on. Before we go into the event, so there was one thing, and actually looking at my first event I want to talk about, I mean, today we have Infinity. We have an Infinity tournament going on
Yeah, it's
here.
going on downstairs, yep.
Awesome. And there's more Infinity gaming coming up over the coming months. We've actually got a narrative weekend coming up for Infinity, which is going to be really exciting. But we'll announce that a little bit closer to the time. Next Saturday, we have a Warmachine and Hordes tournament, one-day tournament, called the Spring Spearhead. That's using the new Steamroller rules, 2013 Steamroller rules that have just been announced and shown on Privateer Press's site. But before I talk about that event in any detail, I do want to quickly step aside. Very, very exciting. Those of you that follow your tabletop news and things, there was some stuff at TempleCon, which was on yesterday.
Yep.
And they announced basically what's coming out for Warmachine and Hordes for 2013.
I know that's
Warmachine in particular. They announced some other cool stuff. There's an expansion or new spin-off game for Level 7 coming out,
Cool.
which sounded very cool, called Omega Protocol, which sounds, which I imagine for Americans it'd be Omega Protocol.
Yep.
But there you go. They announced so Steamroller is your organised play. But and you got the Masters, which is, and again there'll be some news on Masters at Tabletop Nation later on, but we won't be talking about that today. But they've also announced there's a real super hardcore, ultra nasty, double hard, one-off tournament happening each year called Iron Gauntlet. And it's going to be a lock and load. The first one will be in the 2014 lock and load.
Yeah.
And just from what they're talking about it and how it's sounding, it sounds absolutely fiendish. And I would imagine after 2014, the winner of the Iron Gauntlet is going to be somebody that you're going to want to get in on shows and things and talk to, and their opinion on army building or force building is going to carry quite some serious weight. So that's that coming out. There's also a card game. We all like card games. There's a card game coming out for Warmachine called High Command, and there's an equivalent one for Hordes called High Command. And basically, and I don't know, I haven't seen the game myself, but I would suspect that you're probably they'll be cross-compatible.
Yeah, they probably will.
They're likely to do that. But the big exciting news for me, because I like new toys, is two things. First of all, there's a new mercenary colossal coming out. Where for the Rulik, for the dwarfs in mercenaries, so there's a big colossal for them, which is very exciting.
Nice. Well, hang on. As dwarves, it'll probably be half the size of the others.
No.
Yeah,
Gotta be stuffy.
and twice as hard. Yeah, absolutely. But the other news is a brand new faction for Warmachine.
Ouch.
I've had a little look at some of the images for these.
Yeah.
They look fantastic.
That'll be the first new faction since Retribution of Skyra.
Of course, while we're talking, Justin is getting these images on screen, aren't you?
How many times I have to tell you? It's when I do it.
So yeah, these guys are the convergence of Cyrus. Those of you that play the Iron Kingdoms roleplay, Cyrus is the clockwork goddess. She's a relatively new deity in the Iron Kingdoms pantheon. Her followers are trying to move away from flesh and go into machine. So the warcasters are machines. They're constructs. They're not flesh and blood.
This sounds familiar to some other form of fluff.
The armies are all the army itself. The force. There's a lot of bolt gun metal going on in there, or whatever the equivalent colour would be now.
Yeah.
Pig iron.
They have. I look at some of the shots, and I imagine you're seeing these as I'm speaking. I'm seeing a real Necron / Titany kind of vibe going on there, with a whole lot of clockwork stuff thrown in there.
Have they announced a colossal for that?
No,
faction yet?
there's no sign of a colossal. You've got the heavy warjacks, or they're not called warjacks, called vectors. You've got heavy vectors, light vectors. There's a key thing on the cards, where if you look on the cards, because they've shown some pictures of cards, see there's two crosses where the mat and the rat are.
Yes.
That's because the warcasters, mat and rat, is immediately imprinted onto all of the warjacks in the battle group. So if he has a rat of 6 and a mat of 2, for example, then so do all the warjacks. So that's that's quite cool. So actually, you're if you want to take a load of shooty warjacks or vectors, you don't want to be taking a warcaster that has a really low rat. and so on. So
Yeah.
there's some quite interesting
Yeah,
ideas.
For anybody that is
Civil
wondering,
Jack Marshals as well, they could do that as well.
They've all got their own martial ability. One of them, for example, makes all warjacks in the battle group gain an arc node. Another one gives them like shielding abilities and things like that. So there's some really interesting. I think what it's saying to me is it's a system where, in the same way that Retribution came out right at the end of Mark 1 and was almost the segue, the path into Mark 2, it's to me, from the sound of it, because they're starting to play around the mechanics a little bit, it's almost that they're very, very comfortable with Mark 2 now. They're very comfortable with how it all works, and possibly they've got more than one eye on a Mark 3 and moving on.
For anybody that's wondering, Rat is ranged attack and Matt is melee attack. Is that correct?
That's absolutely.
So if
we have also seen the new light cavalry units showing up on the Privateer website as well for Signar and Kador.
Yep.
I do have one little bugbear with them, but I'm not really going to mention it.
They use the same horses.
What?
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
They use the same horses.
Why would you bring it up?
Yeah, why would you bring it up?
I have this really important point to make, which I'm not going to share.
I'm not going to share. No, share. What's the problem?
Fine. One side is Kador, one is Signar. The sculpts for the horses within both units are the same sculpt.
Yes, because horses.
Because horses look like horses.
Yes, but there's no real
cowboys and
I mean
Indians
the
rode
actual
horses, and they
pose.
both look like
the
horses.
exact pose.
That's because
of the
horses run the same.
Yeah, horses have 4 legs.
A horse doesn't run like this, and another horse runs
Guys,
like that.
leave me a comment below. Tell me these two are being idiots.
Well, can I just pitch in?
I'm sorry, did you take your medicine today?
The reason
Thought
the reason the sculpts are the same is because it's the same. I believe that the horses are plastic, and so they've just got different riders. They've got Kador riders, Kadoran riders, and Signar riders, but the basic light horse is the same. Because actually the Kador ones have northern accents. That's the only way you can tell the two apart. Yeah.
Look, if it bothers you, you're a hobbyist.
You cut one leg
You
off.
cut a leg off.
Moustaches, big furry hats on them. Yeah, that's.
I'm surrounded by madmen. Guys,
You get the
save me,
horses
help.
from Rent-A-Ghost or something, yeah?
Rent a what?
Rent-A-Ghost? Yeah, you get the horse from Rent-A-Ghost. And you use that. Anyway,
Okay, this is before my time.
You missed out, Justin. It was one of the best TV shows ever.
before we spend half an hour talking about
Yeah,
Rent-A-Ghost.
we have to move on.
Right, can we talk about the event that I want to talk about?
In a minute, hang on. So,
right, okay.
we've talked about all the cool stuff. So, loads
Yeah.
of cool stuff coming out from Privateer for 2013. I mean, I suspect they're just the first ones out the block with their announcements. I imagine all the other guys are going to be leaping on stuff. But that brings me back into, Spring Spearhead, next Saturday at Tabletop Nation. It uses one of the, we talked about Darrell and Andy with slightly different attitude to gaming. Warmachine and Hordes brings in a very, very different attitude as well, not in terms of the competitiveness, but style of gaming, timed rounds. So the Spring Spearhead's going to be using timed rounds, which is a mechanic. They use it in the Masters.
Time clocks? Or,
Yeah, like chess. So basically you're going to get, in this particular one, it's going to be 7 minutes each. At the end of your 7 minutes, it doesn't matter if you haven't finished with what you're doing, click, it's immediately your opponent's turn. Yeah.
What, is this overall game time or
No, you've 7 minutes per turn.
Per turn.
per turn?
And
That's
then
not too bad.
each player gets a single 10-minute extension, which they can use once per game.
That's a good idea.
So yeah, don't get me wrong. From a mechanics point of view, I mean, I like seeing how it works. I'm
Do
thinking,
I like that
do we have
idea.
to use all the 10 minutes? Or can I use... Do I
no,
have 10
it's a
minutes
single
I can
10
use?
minute. It's a single
You
10-minute.
use all of it or none of it.
That's right.
I think I might have to give that a go with
Yeah,
the Signar.
it's for me it'd be dreadful because it usually takes about 6 minutes to work out what
How
my
much are the
models can
tickets?
do. Tickets for the Spring Spearhead, a mere frippery, £7.
£7.
Cheap as
Not
chips.
That's not bad. And
that brings me to another point. You'll notice that there's a new hub icon
yes,
on
the
the
Tabletop
top of the site.
Tabletop Nation now has a home here on Beasts of War, and whenever you go in there, there's a link through to the actual ticket site, which takes you directly to the events, and you can go in there and pick up your tickets. And there's free tickets and paid tickets are all in there, so go and have a browse.
I'm loving, I must admit, and it's all credit to Man Lloyd at the end there. I'm loving the look of the Tabletop Nation hub. I think it looks awesome. I'm a big fan of all the artwork and the little icons and things. And it's lucky you've got this obsessive eye for detail, because I've seen the man sitting there, and I've walked past and he's gone, oh yeah, I've done this. I'm like, that looks awesome, Lloyd. And I'll come back about 2 hours later. He's still on the same going, yeah, but if I just move this one slightly there.
It's called pixel pushing. He does a lot of that.
But you see, it is the thing about the two of you. You're brothers, but you're both completely different in your creative methods. Warren, you're the wild, experimental type. Lloyd, you're the scientific and precise type.
The wild experimental type.
Yin and yang.
All right.
I'll do.
Okay.
But yeah, but anyway, so yeah,
So are you
very
going
great.
Are you going to be at that event then? Are you going to commit to it now?
I'm going to go for that event. Yes, I will commit to that right now. How many points is it?
It's going to be 35 points.
All right, that'll be my Kador.
Okay. So if you fancy playing against Justin and his Kador and patting his little head.
Yeah, see, I actually saved for this episode, so now you can get a decent sound out of that thing.
It's a form of bullying.
Well, if you want to join in, you know what to do. So the link will be there, and the link will be in the show notes.
I
Anyway.
think
Yep.
we need to get back to what.
Yep.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, so, and again, going beyond, so the Spring Spearhead, the other things to talk about, Carnivale. We don't talk about it nearly often enough.
Nope.
Lots of syphilitic, can we say syphilitic whores? Is that a bleepable one?
No, it's not bleepable because it's an accurate descriptive term.
Excellent.
Instead of simply
Well,
bile.
don't. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah, you had to be about. Okay, so
As
anyway.
opposed to, yeah. So Carnivale, there's a new day of encounters, for want of a better word, a day of organised play. It's like a little mini campaign for the day, specifically designed to show new people how to get in and how to play Carnivale.
And it's part of a more global kind of
It
event.
is, yeah.
That's
It's
going on,
an
isn't
event
it?
called Starvation, but don't let that put you off in the sense of thinking, oh, I've only just gotten into it, or I don't really know much about it. It's specifically engineered for brand new people to come in and go, oh, what? I've seen like the big fishmen forces and all the big monsters and things. What's that all about? Come down. As I say, we're running it on Saturday the 16th of February. Pop along to Tabletop Nation. Other stores all across the world, in fact, will also be having a go of it on and around that date. It should be a lot of fun. We'll have some pre-assembled, pre-painted groups on the day, but also if you've got your own, by all means come down and get involved. All the details are on our website, and it's the best kind of event because it's free.
Yeah, and if you've checked out the Carnivale week on Beasts of War, the actual gaming table that we used during that big themed week will be in store.
Absolutely,
so if you fancy having a go at that, playing the game on that gaming table, you know what to do.
And it's just
how much is that?
it's absolutely free.
Free of
gratis.
charge.
Gratis, my friend. There are 3 more events which I'll quickly touch on, one of which you probably won't let me briefly talk about because you're going to want to wax lyrical.
All right, well, let's go to the other two first.
Yeah, I will do. So, Malifaux.
Yes.
If you recovered from your Carnivale shenanigans, the very next day, Sunday the 17th, we have Malifaux, Lost Love. There's a couple of tickets left for that. That, again, is you're getting your gangs in. And similar to the Carnivale one, it's designed as a kind of a bit of an introductory tournament. There will be aspects. There's plenty there for the kind of the grizzled guys to get involved in.
That's next Sunday.
That's next Sunday. But there's also plenty of mileage. As I say, if you're brand new to Malifaux, you thought you'd try something new, get yourself down. You don't have to have it all painted. Assembled is a good idea, but just come down. You'd be very welcome, and try your hand. And as I mentioned, I think on the last weekender, even if you get an utter kicking in all of the games, it doesn't matter. You'll know 100 times more about
and it's
Malifaux.
fine for complete newbies to come down.
Absolutely. It's a little bit more structured. It's not a campaign. Whereas the Carnivale one's a campaign. So you're playing as part of a story. The Malifaux one is a structured tournament. So you'll be playing a series of games, and we will be working out a ranking. So prepare yourself that if you haven't played very much before, you may not be on the top table winning the glittering prizes, but you'd be surprised. It's a really great game that even if you do come in with a bit of beginner's luck, you can actually get yourself quite a decent result. So I thoroughly recommend it.
But if you don't know how to play the game, is there any reason to come along?
Yeah, I would come down. 2 things you can do. One, just come down and have a look. You don't have to actually take part in the tournament. Come down and see what it's all about. We've got people on hand that will happily run you through some games, show you what it's all about. But also, that's on the Sunday, so there's no reason why you couldn't come down on the Saturday, get yourself involved in the Carnivale thing and have a go at that. And I tell you what, have a go of Malifaux on the same day.
Yeah, while you're at it, and then if you fancy it on a Sunday.
rock
And
up
how
for the
much
next
is
day.
that?
For the tournament itself for Malifaux, that's £10 for that one. There are some pretty fabulous prizes if you do quite well. And actually, if you do badly, there's a really awesome wooden spoon at the end of it. So it's always about the losing prizes I focus on. So that looks a really, really good event. The other one to talk about, we mentioned it before, but Dreadball. So Dreadball players out there, you've got your regional heat, Saturday the 22nd of June for everybody. Well, actually anybody in the world is welcome to come down to it, but more specifically is there's regional heats all over the United Kingdom and Ireland. The one is for the southern half of England. But if you missed out on one of the other regional heats, or you
it's a way of getting into it
originally from Denmark or something like that, you're very, very welcome. That's Saturday the 22nd of June, and again you can get tickets of £15, and you can get them on the site.
That's an interesting point actually, because if you are from somewhere in Europe, check Southend Airport, so EasyJet Southend Airport, because I believe we have flights direct in from Barcelona and a number of other European cities. And that airport is literally 10 minutes from the venue.
Very, very easy to get.
The other little handy thing on the hub is we have another little button that will download you a PDF with a map to get here.
All right, there we go.
Absolutely. So finally, then so I talked about. I'll quickly run through them all at the end, but I'll just finally talk about the 18th and 19th of May. We're going to do a Warhammer 40,000 narrative weekend. So it's a campaign. It's a proper full-blown campaign for Warhammer 40,000. It's called the Second Tyrannic War. It might have something to do with Tyranids. So Warren's getting quite excited about it. I'm getting quite excited about it because my Ultramarines are looking forward to putting some frag missiles and flak missiles in some people.
Yep.
It's shaping up to be a cracking weekend. If you've never done a narrative weekend before or anything, or a campaign weekend, I thoroughly recommend it. It's about, if you like the Black Library books, if you like that bit in the 40k rulebook past the rules section, so anything to do with the background, the reasons why, and let's be honest, the thing that probably attracted most people to Warhammer 40,000 was how cool the stuff looks and how interesting all the different factions and races are. It's right up your street. It's well worth doing. Tickets are £45. It's a 2-day event, so Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have some pre-gaming entertainments and fun on the Friday night as well. If you're travelling down for the weekend, you get down on the Friday. We'll be putting on some light-hearted fun then. But that £45 not only does it cover your campaigning for both days and all the prizes and everything else, it's also going to cover your lunch on the Saturday and the Sunday, as well as your Saturday night dinner as well. So there's it's well worth it. You're going to get all of the food, all of your entertainments for the weekend, and there's a campaign pack as well. The campaign pack, you get a copy of that on the day, and that's going to have a whole host of new units that you can use. You've got Death Watch for the Imperium if you want to do that. The Tyranids get Gene Stealer cults, Gene Stealer covens, Brood Brothers, limousines, all that kind of nonsense like that. There's also stuff in there for the Orcs. The Orcs get Orc Gene Stealer hybrids as for their freebooters and things like that. There's loads and loads of stuff in there. So pretty much every faction, every army, there's something interesting in there which you can convert up and use at the weekend. But once you've had the weekend and you go home and you've got this nice campaign pack, there's no reason why you can't use it in your games at home with your mates. There's nothing.
Just take it with you.
There's nothing too hideous in there that's going to ruin people's games. It's more about having fun and trying new things.
And it doesn't matter what 40k army you play. Yes, I'm going to be playing Nids. I'm going to be hooking out my Nids. That was acid. We're going to be hooking out my Nids.
That was giving me the local weather. Thanks for that.
I'm going to be hooking out my Nids. As I've often said, Nids were my first love. I want to get them up. I want to get them painted. I'm going to get my big beasties. I'm even going to paint my Hierophant. Not be brilliantly painted, but I don't care. I'm just at this stage. I'm just looking forward to doing this because I've never played a narrative event. It suits me right down to the ground, but all the other factions can all participate as well. There's tickets per faction.
Chaos Space Marines, Imperial Guard,
Chaos Marines for me,
Grey Knights, Sisters of Battle, whatever. Pretty much anybody who could be on a planet that's going to get attacked by the Tyranids, the Necrons. There's pretty much any faction involved, but there'll be something themed. There'll be a themed unit on those under each of the sections in the campaign pack, where you'll have something that's either engineered to fight Tyranids or is a result of the Tyranid infection or the Tyranid attack. So it should make for quite an interesting weekend.
Well, between now and then, I'm sure we're going to do loads of posts about it. So you can keep posted. But if you're interested, well, go into the TTN hub and then click on the tickets button, and that'll take you through to the tickets page, and you can click on it and pick up a ticket there.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning, if you're going on there right now, the way that the narrative campaign, the Second Tyrannic War, is under one of our banners called the Tempest Fugitives, which is an event group. The way the Tempest Fugitive events work is they're all about that really deep level of units and background and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. But what you'll find is that the campaign pack, when you look at it right now, so this morning, is what we call the primer. So it's just going to basically be the point values, the basic point sizes of the army, the schedule for the day, how to get there, some real basic information. But over the next month or so, that information will massively increase as we add more and more stuff in. It's a bit like a living document.
Yeah.
And then about 2 months before the event, 6 weeks, 2 months before the event, we'll then lock the pack, and there'll be a notice up on the forums and things saying the pack is now finalised and locked. And then that'll be the version that you'll then get printed out and have on the day. But what it means that between now and when we lock the pack, you can give us feedback on the Tabletop Nation forums. You can give us feedback on there, and just let us know what you think. I've tried out with the Gene Stealer Coven. I found they're a little bit weak, or they're a little bit too strong. We very rarely get posts saying that things are too strong.
Yeah.
They tend to keep that to themselves. But you give us feedback, we can then adjust it. So your input is having a direct impact on how the event shapes up, and then you get to enjoy it on the weekend.
Brilliant. Well, guys, that about wraps it up for the Weekender. I said it was a quickie, but it still rocked in at about 45 minutes. So it's a nice chat. Anyway, we're going to get back to messing around with the equipment and all the other stuff that we're trying to do and the new developments that we're trying to bring you. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Good.